Get to the specifics of what is happening in Europe today, particularly in terms of defense and relations with Russia. Let's just talk a little bit about American leadership. You were the US Army's top general in Europe for about 4 years. You were at the sharp end of NATO's response to what Vladimir Putin was doing in Russia. And yet right now, the headline coming out of the United States is about retrenchment, is about looking inward rather than outward. And I most obviously see that in the symbolic commitment of Joe Biden to make good on Trump's promise to pull all US forces out of Afghanistan, and Biden says it will happen by September 11. In terms of US leadership, do you think that's a problem?
So, first of all, let's talk about US leadership, how important it is. We saw the last 4 years, the price we pay when the United States withdraws looks totally inward. And of course, America has always had a strong isolationist streak since our founding. But I'm happy that the new administration has stepped up and from day one has talked about the importance of American leadership and participation in NATO and the importance of allies. We clearly, even with the biggest defense budget in history, do not have the capacity to do everything around the globe that needs to be done to protect our interests and to protect our allies. Afghanistan, President Biden is not making good on President Trump's promise. This is something that President Obama also wanted to do. Personally, for me, I'm relieved. There's a high degree of melancholy about it. I spent 15 months there under the command of General Sir Nick Carter when he was commander of Regional Command South in Kandahar. That was the hardest year I had in the Army. We invested a lot, but I think after 20 years, it is time to go. We all did our best to help Afghanistan. We accomplished the original purpose, and then we stayed about 19 years too long after that.
Well, I'm not sure you really did accomplish that original purpose, because I'm just looking at what Hillary Clinton said the other day. She said that actually one had to be honest and say that when the US forces do pull out by September, one possible outcome could be that the Afghan government will be toppled and the Taliban will take over. She said that there could be a resumption of civil war across the country, and at some point a largely Taliban-run government could take over. So I'm not quite sure what the $2 trillion the US has spent in Afghanistan has really achieved.
Well, keep in mind, the original purpose was to make sure that Afghanistan could not be the launching pad for terrorist attacks on the United States or the UK or other allies. That was accomplished in the first year.
With respect, we know that one branch of ISIS, the so-called Islamic State, is still active with perhaps up to 2,000 personnel inside Afghanistan. We believe Al-Qaeda still has some remnants inside Afghanistan. So I'm not even sure how you can say that you're certain attacks won't be launched from Afghanistan in the future.
Well, of course I can't. My point is, Stephen, that after the first year, the main reason for going in there had been accomplished, and we should have left. We didn't. We did our best to help improve Afghanistan, to help improve their own security capabilities, because we also realized that once you do leave, the possibility of a return by Al-Qaeda or now ISIS was always a possibility. And so there is a decision that nations have to make. Do you maintain guards there, basically? I live here in Frankfurt, in Hessen, and the old Roman Limes Germanicus runs along the hills near here. For over 200 years, the Romans had soldiers up there protecting the Roman Empire. I don't think that's necessarily the approach for us. Having said that, we were not willing to do what was necessary. We, the coalition, were not willing to do what was necessary with regards to Pakistan to make sure that Pakistan could not be a safe haven for the Taliban or other extremist organizations. And if we're not willing to do that, then in 1,000 years, we're never going to completely eliminate the enemy from Afghanistan. And so I think it was time for us to leave.